जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम हॉटस्पॉट श्री राम जय राम
जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय राम राम ओम श्री राम जय राम जय जय 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 राम ओम श्री राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम जय 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 जय राम ओम श्री राम जय 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 राम जय जय राम ओम श्री राम Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Sri Ram, 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 Jai Ram, Jai Jai Sri Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Sri Ram, Jai 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 Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Jai Ram, Ram, Om
Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om. 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 Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody, Hari Om to everybody.
Hari Om, Pranam Swamiji.
Pranam, Pranam, Pranam. Pranam, Pranam, Pranam to one and all. So tomorrow is the Geeta Jayanti day. Bhagavad Gita is one of the most read, recited, reviewed and revered spiritual texts in the world. Composed as a poem with 700 verses, to be more precise, 701. Gita contains an eclectic array of themes, varied themes, unfolded in the dialogue between Lord Krishna and warrior Arjuna, literally in the midst of an epic battle. The pertinent questions that the Gita addresses range from the exalted philosophical realm to our mundane day-to-day lives. There are countless scholarly commentaries on the Gita which examine the quintessence of the sacred text in minute detail. But many masters have observed that Gita is essentially addressed to the man in the field. Though Srimad Bhagavad Gita is known, respected, adored by many in India and abroad, the core message still remains unexplored by the majority. For a common man who is engaged in the battle of his workaday life, the most important question is, does this holy scripture, composed thousands of years ago, offer definite answer to the tenacious questions in this direction and on the meaning and purpose of his present day life? Bhagavad Gita does offer us a clear direction to our lives. It shows us how to lead a spiritually meaningful life without withdrawing from the society. The Gita helps us find a fine balance between home and workplace, personal and social life, spiritual and mundane affairs. It teaches us how to transform our mundane daily life into a spiritual journey. Does the Gita offer us direct answers? No. It helps us find the answers. It gives us the clarity to look at all situations with a new perspective. when we diagnose the cause of various problems faced by us at the family level, professional level, and the social level, the revelation comes that everything stems from me and mine only, oblivious of the substratum, which is the common denominator. Rights and wrongs, likes and dislikes, our priorities, preferences, fixed notions, and the like are the ones which dominate us. Love has not dawned in our hearts because there is self-interest. Love means capital L. We consider others as outsiders and strangers still. And we do not love them in the way in which we should be loving them. Thus, we unknowingly create an atmosphere of strife and disharmony around us. How to get over is the problem. With this in view, we keep on stuffing our mind with various philosophies brought out by various Mahatmas and Shastras and feel that it would help us in leading a peaceful life. But the truth is that our intellect works only on the surface, cannot enter deep within to know that we as actors do not exist by ourselves, and that everything happens only by the will of that power, who is in all and who is as all. So intellect has not been helpful to us as it fails to guide us in the right direction. Here comes the relevance of the Bhagavad Gita, which teaches us to harmonize our intelligence, love, and action in such a way that we become aware of the existence of the substratum or the base power without which our sense of individuality, consisting of the body, mind, intellect, senses, pranas, cannot function independently. Thus we find that the Bhagavad Gita, when approached with the right attitude, does address all our problems. To highlight the relevance of the teachings of the Gita in the day-to-day life, revered Pandit Madan Mohan Malaviyaji gave a call to the nation in the year 1925 to celebrate Geeta Jayanti in the month of December every year. So this is the preamble. As usual, in ashram it is a low profile. Roughly about 50 persons have come forward to join the program. So we will all assemble here by 8:30, 9 o'clock in this hall. As majority of the participants are from this area, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, both the Prarthana Shlok. Yesterday, as we said, we are not going through the entire Bhagavad Gita because we want to go within. How to blend it with our workaday life, so that we will get some clues, some answers for dealing with the present day challenges, duties, and commitments. We do not want to, our mind should not be satisfied by mere chanting. Our mind should go deeply into some of the shlokas. So with that in view, we have split the 700 into 5 or 6 divisions. So tomorrow we will take up first and the second chapter. It contains about 119 or some shlokas. And first we will go through the Malayalam meaning also will be displayed along with the shloka. Those who are not well conversant with Malayalam, they can have in their own language or in English. We can try to give you some English translation if you need. And then after that, the sloka will start. They will go through the sloka one by one and the meaning simultaneously. And after it is over, it is hoped by 1.5 hours we may be able to complete this exercise. and then select a few slokas from, important slokas from is 1 and 2. 1 does not contain many, excepting the last portion, because otherwise this is more on the stage, who are all the participants. And then his Vishada aspect is highlighted in the later part. And finally, how he got thoroughly depressed, dejected, frustrated, and he keeps the Gandiva and sits, no mood to fight. So that portion we will highlight. And then the second chapter, which is supposed to be the quintessence of the entire 18 chapters, Sankhya Yoga, where he gives a word picture of a Sthita Prajna, a man of steady wisdom. So many clues are there. So we will go through and we will select some of the slokas that gets aligned with our thinking. So that may take another 30 minutes or 40 minutes. So in all, by 11:30, 12, we will be able to complete it and then join the ashram program. The program will start with the 15 minutes Ramnam, no doubt. So 15 minutes Ramnam and then Prarthana Slok, Pataya Pratibodhidam. Then afterwards, first chapter, then second chapter. Somebody will read it out in Malayalam, not Malayalam, it's Sanskrit slokas, and the meaning also they will read it out in Malayalam, so that apart from, otherwise just we may look, it may not get registered, stamped in our heart. And then a few slokas, and if anybody feels anything, they can also contribute. And next month, Papa willing, on the first Sunday again, we will take up the next two, the same process. We hope, by His grace, in another 5 to 6 months, we would have gone through the entire Bhagavad Gita. It is not merely chanting, again we repeat. Every now and then tomorrow we will also share some thoughts of Vinobaji. Vinobaji has written a book called Talks on the Gita, the quintessence as he saw from each and every chapter. It is very, very, you all know that it is very inspiring. So we have condensed it to chapter-wise. We may not be able to go through the entire one. So what is there from the first chapter, what is there from the second chapter? So that will take another 15 minutes, that's all. And if anybody wants anything else, that also we will try. The idea is to have an in-depth study of Bhagavad Gita. It is not merely Gita chanting. Just like, the moment we were going through Gandhiji's teachings, Gandhiji's articles, we came to know that he gives a lot of importance for the 12th chapter many years ago, many decades ago. So when we came here, we extracted this 12th chapter from the Malayalam book. We printed exclusively this and started distributing it. And then we made a PPT for the last 8 slokas, and then elaborate work was done to get contemporary anecdotes so that we will be able to understand the sloka in letter and in spirit. For example, Adveshta Sarvabhutanam, Maitra Karuna Evaja, Nirmamo Nirahankara Samadukka Sugakshami, Santushta Satatam Yogi Yatatma Dridhanishchayaha, Mayarpida Manobuddhihi Yomad Bhakta Samepriya. The first of the 8. So in each one, we try to get an example. Example not Puranic, example from the day-to-day life, so that we will be able to understand it deeper. And then with that, we will be looking at our own life, so far lived and to be lived. So like that, we couldn't do for everything. There are many chapters where these values have been brought out like this. But somebody can take it up. These are all some projects, that will help us to go within, not merely at the superficial level. In the 12th chapter, just like in 12th chapter, in the second chapter, to 18 slokas are there. Arjuna asked, Sthitaprajnasya ka bhasha? What does he talk? How does he talk? How does he move? How does he sit? So then he starts explaining. Gandhiji was insisting that every time when they prayer, they should chant this Sthitaprajna. Because, this is how a Sthitaprajna. I should also try to become a Sthitaprajna. For that I should know, So, and in the 13th chapter again, Kshetra Kshetratnya Yoga, there is a list of values, Amanitvam, Adambitvam, like that. And 16th, there is again Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhi, 24 values. So Geeta Jayanti, I would request every one of you to kindly apply this mind. These are some of the ways by which, Geeta becomes ours, not in our shelf. So far it is in the form of a book in our shelf, in our house. But we have not taken Geeta into our heart. Not necessarily that we have to master the entire 701 slokas, some slokas. And that will keep us in good stead. So from when the prompting comes to us to have this Geeta Jayanti and a sincere attempt to enter into the contents of the 700 chapters in 5 or 6 months. So every month we have got one month, Suppose tomorrow we are, by His grace, we are covering about 100 and odd slokas. During the next 1 month, we should apply our mind intensely on this. And then that feedback we will have in next month before we start. First half an hour we will have that feedback. Anybody could align it with themselves. In that way, the Geeta chanting, Geeta will slowly enter into us. It should become effective. It should become a part of our life. Papa in his Geeta Sandesh, he made it very clear that every one of us should read at least one chapter, one sloka. Some of the words of the masters. Beloved Papa Swami Ramdas says, Bhagavad Gita is a veritable mosaic of eternal wisdom. It does not let unsolved even a single problem pertaining to the conduct of human life, both in its spiritual and physical spheres. Spontaneity of life, born of an egoless purity and ignorance, and a consciousness of immortal freedom, and a condition of perfect divine ecstasy and peace, is the one supreme note and refrain of the voice that rings through the Gita. Have you heard anywhere these words?
It's a refrain. Spirituality from the recent inquest of God. Refrain, note.
Vinobaji says, God has not created a single human being who is bereft of a single good quality. In the form of a good quality, God exists in everyone. Mataji says, if you see greatness in others, the same greatness is in yourself. If you see littleness in others, the same littleness is in yourself. Swami Chidanandaji says about Gita, each one is distinct and unique in the eyes of the Creator. There is none like that particular being. There is no second. So each one is precious and specially valuable to the Creator. Rejoice that you have your own special place and role to perform in this creation of God. This need not necessarily be from Gita. Swami Ranganathananji, Geeta is a book that is meant to be a help to realize the eternal spiritual reality within all men and women, along with the humanistic objectives which we have in our constitution, and also those which humanity is seeking in the modern age. The Gita is compared to the milk taken out of the cow, meaning the Vedas, by Sri Krishna, the milkman. What is the milk for? It is not meant for worship. This is a wonderful word. It is not meant for worship, but it is meant to be drunk for our own nourishment. Then alone can get one strength. But all these hundreds of years, we took that glass of milk, worshipped it with flowers, and saluted it, but never drank it. That is why we are feeble, physically, mentally, socially. That will change if we now start drinking this milk and assimilate it. That will help us to develop character strength, work efficiency, and a spirit of service, and to guard the new national destiny. When we read the verses 13 to 20 from chapter 12, again Ranganathanji says, we ask our own mind, how am I fitting this description? No, Adveshta Sarvabhutanam, no? He keeps on listing who is my dearest devotee. The Lord says those who live like this, holding on to such and such virtues, are very dear to me. I also want to be dear to the Lord. How shall I do it? Step by step, let me practice these virtues. Then finally the highest dedication of the divine will come. Our own certificate, I am God's devotee, will not be sufficient. You are my true devotee. That kind of God certificate must come to each one of us. That cannot come until we fulfill both the requirements of Dharmyam and Amritam. According to Ranganathanji Maharaj, Dharmyam and Amritam. Dharmyam relates to the efficient life in the workaday field. Amritam relates to the spiritual height. So both should go hand in hand. Papa also says, it must be within the experience of every student of the Gita that the majority of the commentators on this great scripture have drawn out such truths from it as would coincide with their own views and predilections. That is why everyone's comment is unique and it is inspiring. They have viewed it from there and have presented them to the world as the whole secret of this many-sided, all-comprehensive mine of wisdom. Some read it into the Gita an emphatic call to renounce all action in the world as the ultimate goal. Some others argue that the Gita holds devotion to a personal God as the essential creed of it. Some would have it that the Gita urges the soul to plunge into action, making that alone the sole criterion and the one necessary condition of human existence. Again, some others, taking the Mahabharata war, including the Gita, as only an allegorical exposition of the external truth, interpret the teachings from their viewpoint as embodying an uncompromising cult of ahimsa. Each one of these expounders of the Gita is right from the angle of vision by which he has struggled to understand the scripture. But the whole truth enshrined in its 18 chapters is all that they have said put together and much more besides. For an all-round, authoritative, conclusive and comprehensive treatise on the Gita, among the commentaries of the present day, one has to turn to the illuminating and inspiring volumes of the essays on the Gita by Sri Aurobindo. To understand life and realize its glory integrally, one has to study the Gita in all its phases and from all standpoints. To have a partial view of a particular aspect of it alone, and to hold forth that as the whole truth has been the cause of imperfection in spiritual experience. The purpose of the Gita is to proclaim that human life is essentially divine, spiritually, mentally, physically. Its one aim is to prove that spirit and matter are one and the same. Activity in the world, whatever form it might take, as circumstances and conditions demand, is not a thing to be shunned or renounced. What is needed is to divinize life through the attainment of freedom from the individual sense by the emergence of it into God, who is at once the soul, the universe, and the all-transcendent, all-inclusive truth. The soul whose life is thus liberated, the Gita says, is utterly divine in all his movements, significant as well as insignificant. No action for him is but a natural and spontaneous flow of divine energy acting through him. As God's supreme will determines, this energy works through him equally to create, to preserve, and to destroy. Since this illumined personality intuitively bases his action on the vision of the universal reality and performs them in a state entirely bereft of the individual sense, they do not affect him for good or evil. So long as the soul misses this acme of attainment, he flounders in the morass of conflicting dualities, good and evil, virtue and sin, himsa and ahimsa, and pleasure and pain. The divine Shakti works in the universe, both for constructive and destructive purposes. Only when the supreme power acts in man through his lower nature, it is vitiated with greed, lust, and selfishness. In this state, in whatever manner he acts, his works are tainted. For personal aggrandizement, such as for wealth, power, and glory, he would launch into any kind of action, irrespective of its nature as ahimsa or himsa. Whereas the same Shakti, when she acts in a man, freed entirely from every egoistic impulse or ambition, does so for the uplift and protection of the oppressed and innocent humanity. Here Shakti may work through the purified medium or vehicle, creatively or destructively. Creation and destructions are concomitant movements. We can never separate them. Every new creation has its base the destruction of the old. This is the law of nature universally applicable. We cannot palliate, shirk, or ignore this law of God, controlling all the activities of nature, including those of human beings. It is ever there, facing us at every turn. The saving grace of man in the field of action lies only in his acting as an instrument of the divine, in a state of utter freedom from the touch and recoil of action. Here, what is essential is complete dedication of all life's actions to the will and power of the Almighty, dwelling in the hearts of our beings, creatures, and things. Else, if we move only in the vicious circle of harassing Danduvas and attempt to cling to one of them for attainment of true freedom and peace, we can never reach the goal. Doubts and fears will ever rise in the man of such a man, and he will become a scared creature, always a prey to impatience, suspicion, and despair. Therefore, the command of Sri Krishna is, rise beyond the dualities, rise beyond the dharmas of the gunas, rise beyond all conditioned states of existence, conceived of and set up as standards by the fettered mind and intellect, and be one with me, the all transcendent reality, then act in life as my instrument, as my vibhuti, myself revealed in and as your form and body. This is the deliverance that I offer you. This is the supreme blessedness in which I grant you the bliss of immortality. Once again, we will read the command of Sri Krishna. Rise beyond the dualities, rise beyond the dharmas of the gunas, rise beyond all conditioned states of existence, conceived of and set up as standard by the fettered mind and intellect, and be one with me, the all transcendent reality, then act in life as my instrument, as my vibhuti, myself revealed in and as your form and body. This is the deliverance that I offer you. This is the supreme blessedness in which I grant you the bliss of immortality. So there are so many, and one more, the beautiful part which we liked when we took up Vinobaji's talks on the Geeta. It is here, no?
Yes. Geeta, Satsang.
Is there? Otherwise, don't worry. Yeah. It should not be there. No, no need. No need, no need. Arjuna Vishada Yoga, no? Many of you, or most of you may know that it starts with the Vishada Yoga. A depressed person, a dejected person, a frustrated person. And after this 16 chapters, 17 chapters, and in the 18th chapter, the Lord concludes. And he does not impose the views on Arjuna. That is the beauty of it, which has been beautifully pointed out by Vinobaji. He says, in the last but few slokas, I have told you what is to be told. Now it is up to you. Yathechasi tatha guru. Whatever you feel like doing, you can do it. But Arjuna, having heard, assimilated this, he said, Karishye vachanam tava. I will do exactly what you have instructed. That is the beauty. In the Inquest of God also you will find Papa's life started with stress. That is the first chapter, first word, and ends with serenity at the end of the 37th chapter. And he gives us some clues, hints, not any tall talk, but through different episodes, sublime points by which a stressful life can be transformed into a peaceful life, a serene life. So here, Vinobaji says at the end of the first chapter, we have read it many a time, but still it is worth going through that. Introduction to Arjuna's condition. These are the words of Vinobaji. The introduction to Arjuna's condition in the first chapter helps us greatly in understanding the rest of the Gita. We should be grateful to this. It also helps us in another way. It reveals Arjuna's straightforwardness and honesty. The word Arjuna in fact means one who is honest, straightforward in nature. Indirectly it says, when we approach, we will be able to absorb and assimilate the teachings of the masters only when we have such a mindset. He candidly told Krishna all that he felt and thought, hid nothing from him. In the first chapter we will find he is narrating the reasons why he is not going to fight. He candidly told Krishna all that he felt and thought, hid nothing from him, and ultimately surrendered to him totally. In fact, he was already his devotees. When he made Krishna his charioteer and entrusted to him the reins of his horses, he had got ready to give into his hands the reins of his mind also. So this is what is needed, no? Let us do likewise. Let us not think that unlike Arjuna, we do not have Krishna to guide us. Let us not get caught in the fallacy that Krishna was a historical person. Everybody has Krishna residing in his heart as the indwelling self. He is nearer to us than the nearest. Let us bear our heart with all its impurities and weaknesses before him and say, O Lord, I take refuge in you. You are my sole guide, my master. Show me the right path, I shall follow it. If we do so, Arjuna's charioteer will be our charioteer too, and we shall hear the Gita from his own lips, and he will lead us to victory. So Vinobaji is trying to set our mind, before we start. So we don't have to think that this happened 5,000 years ago at the Kurukshetra. Geographically, that place is in Haryana. And then how do we connect ourselves with him? We are in 2022, na? Yes. So then in what way is going to help us? So this is how Vinobaji connects us. Every day there is a battlefield that is going on in front of us. And Krishna has the sense of individuality in all of us, Arjuna has the sense of individuality. Praise to the indwelling reality, Krishna, to give me the hints, to give me the right guidance to deal with everything that you create from outside. If this is set in our mind, we will not go back and feel that this is a theory given by X to Y many thousands and thousands of years back, but it is directly addressed to me. Everybody has Krishna residing in his heart as the indwelling self. He is nearer to us than the nearest. Let us bear our heart with all its impurities and weaknesses before him and say, O Lord, I take refuge in you. You are my sole guide, my master. Show me the right path, I shall follow it. If we do so, Arjuna's charioteer will be our charioteer too. We shall hear the Gita from his own lips, and he will lead us to victory. This is how Vinobaji starts. In every he has extracted the quintessence as prompted to him by God. You might be knowing that as a prisoner, the first Satyagrahi, individual Satyagrahi, which was the call to the nation by Gandhiji, he selected Vinobaji as the first individual Satyagrahi, and so then he was arrested, and in the prison, every week he used to, his friends asked him, why don't you share? So that was in 1932. The first chapter he shared in Marathi. You see, it was delivered in Marathi. 21st February 1932. Somebody was kind enough to jot down. We don't know how. Then later on, many of you might be knowing, it was translated into more than 20 languages. During our childhood days, we remember to have seen the Malayalam. Even at that time, it has come. So that means then Gandhi, he himself translated into English, and then it was translated into different languages. Even in Tamil it is there, Malayalam it is there, Hindi, so many. Because it's a small book, and he doesn't go by sloga. But some aspect has been beautifully highlighted. And in a language which we can easily understand. So during our this journey with Srimad Bhagavad Gita, we will try to read his portion also, not in the full text. We have again condensed it. But the first one, we would like everyone who is hearing this to think about it. So that how to become Gita my own, no? So far we have treated it, as Ranganathanji put it in a blunt way, we have extracted the milk and put the glass and we are worshipping. It has not become ours, we have not started drinking. So we have to start drinking. As Papa used to say, the sweetness of Ram Nam can come only when the low passions in our mind are totally removed. So similarly, we have to drink, and for that there should be a mindset. And the mindset is that he is there within us, and so far we did not know anything. So with all the malas, with all the impurities, with all the limitations, with all our preconceived notions, we place it before him. Somehow we have acquired all these things. Now you have to now remove everything. And you have to guide us. And Vinobaji used to address Geeta as Geeta I, mother. In the first sloga itself, it is addressed as mother, Bhagavati. In Malayalam, the translator was kind enough to bring it as Amme. Oh mother, please help me to get out of the bondage in which I got myself caught. This is a prayer, Geeta sloka. So let us all try to dwell more and more on this.
Swamiji, what is the name of the book when it was brought out in Marathi, the first original one of Vinobaji?
Talks on the Geeta.
Sorry?
Talks on the Geeta.
Talks on.
So every week you are sharing.
How did Krishna and the Israelis were not denied?
One Mr. Krishna speaks to one Mr. Arjuna.
Swamiji,
Ah.
how can we all join in this learning program?
Tomorrow, Google Meet shall be switched on, Swamiji.
Yes, Mataji, what time?
You can join us.
9 o'clock.
You can join us. This will be displayed on the screen, but it can be displayed to you also, but it will be in Malayalam,
English.
We have not done the preparation for English.
It is lateral.
Translations, not like this, small. We will, now that you have raised it, we will apply our mind and try. Anyway, you can hear definitely. And a brief translation. We will try for these 100 and odd slokas. It's really a homework. Because so many people, when they comment on this, they don't stop with the meaning. Huh?
English.
They want it in English, Then only they can understand. So we will try, we will apply our mind. Normally, whenever we need any English translation, we go to various commentaries and extract what exactly we need and leave the other portion. For 100 and odd shlokas, I would say that we will skip the first one, the last portion only we will take. And the second one we will definitely concentrate, because the first one deals with only the stage, the first preliminary scene.
First chapter.
We will try if time permits. We have to sit and do it. If any of you have that in ready-made, you can share with us, we will just go through. English sloka, we will go through that. And if it fits in, because each one's interpretation is different, so you have to go through that, and then we will try tomorrow. Anyway, you can join.
Otherwise, we can have next Sunday English one.
Mataji, will it be on Google Meet?
We can, if all of you are interested.
If you are interested, we will switch on the Google Meet.
I am Mataji, I am.
Think about it. It will be from 9 to 12 or 11:30. We don't want to burden anybody. We don't want to become a stressful. It should be an enjoyable journey.
Dharma Kshetre, Kurukshetre.
So it is not the chanting we are giving importance. It is the assimilation is important. Of course, and slogas really help us, because certain slogas, why it gets imprinted in our heart. There is an inner alignment. Suppose suddenly when we know that even the forgetfulness is given by him, how do we know that? Because he has said, Sarvasya Chaham. No, sir. No. Sarvasya Chaham. Correct. Now in this Smriti Jnanam Apohanam it is mentioned. So then whenever we say, how did I forget? Why did I forget? How is it that I am not aware of my previous birth? All these questions haunt us, Why is it that if I have got a previous birth, I am not remembering? Then immediately the shloka will answer, I have made you, considering that you should not be burdened with too much anxieties, too much bondages, attachments. I relieved you of all the old experiences. Suppose you are attached to suppose you are a family man, you are attached to your family members, wife, husband, children, appa, amma, kitappa, uncle, like that. And the person who has helped you, and the person who has wounded you, or suppose it comes along with whatever we have now, are we to remember and bother about it? So was it not a blessing that he made us to forget about it? This is how we draw the answers. So any such thing, we immediately get, it's a ready reckoner. When we say we owe everything to him, how do we know? He says, Bijam Mam Sarva Bhutanam. for anything and everything. Yes, elaborately. When I go to the office, what should be my attitude towards my work? Then he says, Yoga Karma Sukhaushalam. Efficiency in action is called yoga. Yoga means union with God. So for anything and everything, there is it's a ready reckoner. So that happens only when we become one with the Gita. Assimilation is important, not chanting is important. Application. Yeah. So that is what Papa is prompting us to do that from tomorrow. You can all join. We will try to see that it's an enjoyable journey.
Yes, Swamiji, I would like to join.
Yeah.
So if it is possible on Google Meet.
It is possible. Nothing is impossible now. He has given the science and technology 9 o'clock to 11:30. We will see that.
It starts at 9.
Mataji.
Those who are interested can come. And in the evening, if that is there, the evening session can be skipped. Please think about it. Because this is going to take about 2.5 hours.
Yes, sir.
And Vinobaji also will be there. We may not be able to talk to you too much, but it will be displayed.
Swamiji, tomorrow 100 sloka will be taken. That will be covering the second chapter.
First and second chapter.
Dhyana slokas, first, second.
Okay, ma'am.
But English we don't know because we have to prepare.
Swamiji, is the Chinmaya pattern?
Is it Chinmaya pattern?
Chinmaya pattern.
What is Chinmaya pattern?
One will be gentleman going through the sloka and he will be going on.
Chanting will be all together, then meaning will be read by one person.
Everything will be handled by the participants. It has to become one again, with us.
Yes.
We may be sharing a few thoughts, that's all.
Then only one person can talk at one.
No talking,
Sharing.
No sharing. This is the first one. We are going through this 113 slokas, 119 slokas. The meaning of it will be rendered by one of the participants in Malayalam. And English meaning we will try to put it for your purpose in the laptop, which you will get. It will be displayed. Malayalam will be there here. English will be there in the laptop here. So you will get it. You can also join. Doesn't matter, at home you chant along with this. You may be hearing this.
Yes, Swami.
I don't know how the technology will harmonize itself with us. Tomorrow when we, after a few, say half an hour, we will ask everything is okay. Then at that time, if you find any problem, you can tell us. Okay?
What starting, Swamiji?
9 o'clock morning.
9 o'clock.
Thank you. Mataji, Swamiji, one question. If you are displaying, the English, we should be able to see it on our mobile screens and all.
We will display in the screen share.
Another suggestion that strikes to us now is, all of you will be having a book.
In your own language.
So you can, in your own language, you can keep it before you so that we don't have to put it in English. All of you must be having it.
Yes, sir.
Those of you who are not having it, kindly see that you have it tomorrow. They may make, they will. Because science and technology provides everything in a platter as it is. So even if you don't have, you will find ways and means to bring it out. Is it clear?
That, participants.
Then the whole problem gets solved.
Email.
So that means while these people are reading the Malayalam, you will be reading it in English or in whatever language you find comfortable. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So that reduces the pressure on us, and at the same time, everybody will make, first of all, they will try to take it from their shelf. Where is Bhagavad Gita? If there is. And then the next one is not doing puja. Now we will try to approach it with this bhavana. So we will not be academic. We will not be textual. We will not be concentrating on the textual aspects, but we will be concentrating on the essence.
Quintessence will be there.
Each one should try in their own way.
Oh. Swamiji, next 100 shlokas will be when?
Next
100 shlokas will be when?
Next every month first Sunday, 9 to 12.
We will give you the chart.
We have a chart we will share in the group.
The chart will give you date, chapter, number of slokas.
And time also.
Okay? So if you feel you are motivated from within to concentrate upon it, you can do that.
Yes, Swami, it's a chance for us.
Such a chance for us.
It's a chance for us. Very good. So first of all, Ranganathanji has beautifully brought it. All of us have great reverence for Geeta. Everyone must be having. Whenever you go to any ashram or meet anybody, definitely Bhagavad Gita will be there. But we have safely kept it in our... When somebody asks, we will say, yes, we also have Gita. But he did not prompt us to go deep. Now through the words of Ranganathanji, he says, you have kept it on your table, you have not still started drinking it. So tomorrow we will make first attempt to have a few sips. We may not be able to drink, okay, at least a few sips, so that we know what is the taste of it. One thing we can assure, that from the words of all masters, it cannot but be beneficial for us in our workaday life. Okay, so we will all try to meet. As many people can join in the as possible on tomorrow. And so we will not have the Satsang afternoon. Because both it will be difficult for us. And then we will meet on Monday. Tomorrow is Saturday, no?
Yes, sir.
Hari Om. Om Sri Ram Jai Ram. Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram. Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram. Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram. Jai Jai Ram Om. Hari Om to everybody. Hope to meet you all at 9 o'clock. Pranam, pranam.